assalamu alaikum, Gianu, Pakhair Ragale, Ni Hao, Shuvne Shumme, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimas, Guten Morgen, Privyet, and hi, hugs and hellos, and a very amazing Khush Ahmadeed to everyone who is tuned into PTV1 and About You Well this morning, alongside the very amazing Maha Makhdoom and, yeah, Shahzad Khan. First, I thought that, I should actually call myself something like stunning
Hello.
or hello, how are you,
Assalamualaikum, everyone. You know, these, I really do dread when we have foreigners on the show because they say hello in a different way. I'm like, it's going to be added. That's another minute to the show. But I hope you guys had a great weekend and you're ready to start your week with us. Shahzad, how was your weekend?
My weekend was superb, but I didn't get to sleep on Friday and Saturday because I was working, so I had a working weekend.
Okay, that's
and I kind of feel blessed when I get a few days where, I'm so busy that I cannot even fulfill my Z's or the physical need of sleeping as well. But as a matter of fact, I think I was lucky enough to catch up with my Z's last night.
Okay, good.
And it's all good to go now. What about you? What did you do on the weekend?
I saw some friends and had a very relaxing weekend because, there's a lot going on and I was just in touch with my family back home.
All right, that's
about
good.
it.
So
very chilled.
So I think the only thing which we need to do right now is to probably take a look at what's going on in the world. Top stories coming up. Yeah.
Foreign Minister Khwaja Asif leaves for Iran to discuss Afghan security situation and regional matters with the Iranian leadership.
The Organization of Islamic Cooperation has demanded the Myanmar government to allow the United Nations Human Rights Council's fact-finding mission to probe into alleged violations of global human rights laws and bring the perpetrators to justice.
Passengers on a local train in Gifu prefecture of Japan were pleasantly welcomed by meowing What? Okay, so I'm not supposed to read this one. So Shahzad, how do you take over? What's happening?
So, I mean, these cats actually welcome all the passengers who probably come into or intend to travel in the train. I mean, what kind of a concept is that, though? Cats on a train? Pakistan 11 will face ICC World 11 in first T20 match of 3-match series in Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore tomorrow.
And finally, mainly hot and humid weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 24 hours after heavy rainfall yesterday.
Exactly.
Okay, so that was the top stories, and now we have a public service message, and Shahzad has got a very important one to share with us today.
But I think before we move on towards our public service message, today, ladies and gentlemen, it's 11th of September, and it's a very important day in the history of Pakistan, as it is the death anniversary of the father of the nation, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So we have got a small package for him, a rich tribute. Let's go ahead, let's take a look.
Few individuals significantly alter the course of history. Fewer still modify the map of the world. Hardly anyone can be credited with creating a nation-state. Muhammad Ali Jinnah did all three. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a history-making leader who changed the course of history. He possessed a visionary leadership, commitment to the cause, and political mobilization capacity. He was a charismatic leader in the real sense of meaning. 11 September 1948 has a special significance in the history of Pakistan. On that day, we lost the founder of our country. The 68th death anniversary of the father of the nation, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, is being observed with due solemnity and reverence. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah died at 72, just 13 months after the creation of Pakistan, for which he had struggled hard for several years. Jinnah was born in Karachi and trained as a barrister at Lincoln's Inn in London. Jinnah first entered politics by participating in the 1906 Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress, the party that called for dominion status and later for independence for India. 4 years later, he was elected to the Imperial Legislative Council. In 1913, Jinnah became a member of the Muslim League. In 1916, he became the president of the Muslim League. In these early years of his political career, Jinnah advocated Hindu-Muslim unity, helping to shape the 1916 Lucknow Pact between the Congress and the All India Muslim League, in which Jinnah had also become prominent. Jinnah became a key leader and proposed a 14-point constitutional reform plan to safeguard the political rights of Muslims. By the beginning of the 20th century, the conviction had been growing among the Muslims that their interests demanded a preservation of their separate identity. He became convinced that a Muslim homeland on the Indian subcontinent was the only way of safeguarding Muslim interests and the Muslim way of life. Jinnah led his movement with such a skill and tenacity that ultimately both the Congress and the British government had no option but to agree to the partitioning of India. Pakistan thus emerged as an independent state in 14th August 1947. Jinnah became the first head of the new state, that is Pakistan. He took oath as the Governor General on August 15, 1947. Faced with the problems of a young nation, he tackled Pakistan's problems with authority. He was not regarded as merely the Governor General. He was revered as the father of nation. He worked hard until overpowered by age and disease. He died on the 11th September 1948 at Karachi.
Okay, so we are observing the death anniversary of the founding father of Pakistan. It's a very important day, so we should really be aware of it. But now, Shahzad, we have to move on.
Yeah, and we have to move on with our public service message. So let's go ahead and let's take a listen to what do we have to share.
Yeah.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is not really a public service message. I think it's a message for the public of Islamabad only. Because today when I was coming towards work, so there was quite a lot of traffic jam on the Margala Road. So for all those people who are actually destined to go to their offices from Margala Road, please actually what you have to do is that you have to leave before time because of the fact that, you know, they're carpeting these roads on the Margala Road side. So the traffic jam is quite a lot and it's going to take another 10 to 12 minutes to get out of that traffic jam. So please make sure that you are on time or you leave before the time you always leave at.
Exactly, and that's so beautiful. Like over here, traffic jam, you get stuck for 10 to 12 minutes. That's wonderful. Because we've been stuck in traffic jams for like hours.
Yeah, but for somebody, you know, who has to be on TV live, you know, and
that's why I want to leave on time. So anyway, with that, Shahzad, we have a very important topic today. I mean, it's a very interesting topic, and it's about how do people we always highlight how people are playing their roles within Pakistan. We try to provide platforms. I can't get the words out today. Platforms for people who want to do something positive within the country, be it through social, be it through economic, be it through political, any kind of thing.
And since we are observing the death anniversary of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah as well, ladies and gentlemen, for people who live within the country, I think they're obviously playing their role by paying the taxes, or, you know, in any terms of development of the country. But as a matter of fact, you know, when we talk about our country, for all of those expats, for example, for all of those people who were born over here, but they moved to other countries, I think that they can even play a very pivotal role in the development of Pakistan.
And actually, they do play a pivotal role because they are very much invested. Even when they go abroad, you know, that connection is never broken, and that longing to do something for their country is very strong.
So whatever they save, whatever money they make, they want to invest in Pakistan. And usually what I have seen the scenario is like that majority of the time people invest in their villages, they buy land, and then the land just stays there.
Yep.
So what we have done is that, you know, we are going to share the challenges, first of all, and then we are going to talk about all of those issues which they face while thinking of investing in Pakistan.
Yeah, because so basically when we talk about the hurdles, then the issue is abroad, the narrative of Pakistan that is, you know, it's one of the most dangerous countries to live in. So how are they also combating that narrative? What is the counter narrative that they're giving to other Pakistanis to entice them into investing in Pakistan?
Exactly.
And also the systems, you know, the way the systems work, especially within UK. Our panel are from UK, so the systems are very different and they work at a different time as well. So how do you maneuver around all of these things?
And then the reason that we have picked up a panel from UK as well is that, you know, majority of the people who've actually left Pakistan back in 1970s and 60s, they went to UK.
A lot
So I think UK is actually experiencing third or fourth generation of Pakistanis over there as well. So let's see whom do we have with us.
Actually,
Amazing
Zahad
young
is going to
people.
do it
Yeah,
today.
all right. So ladies and gentlemen, on my right-hand side, we have got CEO Brand of Marketing, Mr. Farhan Javed. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you? Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much for coming over. And alongside Mr. Farhan Javed, we've got somebody who's a businessman, chairman, Grana Group. He's none other than Mr. Shafiq Akbar. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for joining us. And last but not the least, a young boy who's 29 years old, called himself an entrepreneur and an investor and a business consultant. He's none other than Mr. Hizki Azhar. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Thank you
so
very much
much
for joining us. So let's get started with the conversation. So Farhan, we'll definitely move on to the challenges. But first of all, to get somebody to invest in a place where they do not even live anymore, how does it sound?
In case of Pakistan, it does sound a bit crazy, especially with the environment that we have for the investment culture. Most of the Pakistanis Pakistani living here, they face a lot of difficulties investing. They have to go through the due diligence they have to do while living here. So one can imagine how hard it is for someone who has spent 10, 15, 20 years abroad. He does not know the dynamics, how things have changed, and what is the market, and what should he expect, where to invest. There's no system or no data available for anyone to do the research to do that.
Okay. So how about you? What do you feel at the? Why should one be interested in investing in Pakistan if they're not even living in the country?
Well, in 2015, Morgan Stanley chief investment strategist said that Pakistan is going to be one of the best investment markets in future.
Okay.
Now, Pakistan does offer a lot of scope for overseas Pakistanis.
Okay.
And I think what we are trying to do is, me, Farhan, the gentleman sitting on my right-hand side, we're trying to encourage those Pakistanis who think there are a lot of challenges in Pakistan. Obviously, there are a lot of challenges in Pakistan, but it does offer a lot of opportunities and scope investment-wise, not just in investment, in other sectors as well. So, yes, you know, it's one of the emerging
One of the emerging markets.
Yeah, emerging market. But at the same time, it's not just, you know, the thing is, you talk about the youth of Pakistan, there are more than 100 million Pakistanis under the bracket of 30 years. You got Pakistan's economy is doing a lot better than what it was with CPAC and other things coming in Pakistan. I think Pakistan offers a lot of scope and opportunities for overseas investors. And that's what we are trying to encourage.
All right, let's see.
Okay, so now let's move on to his skill. So we've mentioned, what is the scope here? So what kind, people know there's land, you can buy a house.
Yeah.
What else is there?
What I'd say is I think the opportunity is immense in terms of not just real estate. Real estate is a big market, definitely. But then on top of that, you've also got like the business market. There's not, like, for example, when you look at economies like in the UK, there's a lot of big brands.
Okay.
Currently here, there's not been like brands as big as they are in the UK. So if you have like a strategy and correct business practices and ethics, obviously considering everything, then I think it's like a real market where a lot of businesses can come in and get very good, healthy returns. I mean, like in terms of overseas Pakistanis, I think if they are considering investing, Pakistan is one of the best future like emerging markets in a sense that currently I think it's about 4 to 5% GDP increase like per annum.
Yeah.
And again, as my esteemed friend said, there's a very young population, and on top of that, the trade agreements that are circling around Pakistan are very interesting.
Okay.
All right. But as a matter of fact, you know, before I further ask about, you know, how Pakistanis can be an asset, expat Pakistanis can be an asset for Pakistan, there's one more thing which I wanted to ask, and that is specifically for you. So for somebody who's 29 years old and calls himself an investor,
Well, he is an investor. Calls himself.
Let me complete. Don't you think it gets a bit difficult for you to, you know, get to those people who really want to invest millions of pounds over here in Pakistan? How do you convince them, first of all?
The difficulty is definitely there. I mean, it's not as easy as it should be or easy as it sounds, obviously, because of the challenges, which we would go into talking about later. But I think because of my connection, especially with Pakistan, and obviously a lot of overseas Pakistanis as well, because essentially they share the same culture. The heritage is very similar, and the way the overseas Pakistanis live in UK is very culture orientated as well. I think that can play as an advantage point when you're trying to convince someone who's
to invest in their own country.
Yeah, to invest into their own country. The challenges like safety and security do come up, but then I think deep down they probably do want to invest themselves rather than anything else.
All right.
So you can use that whole kind of connection and that kind of attraction.
Exactly.
To the country.
So now, what I want you to highlight, all three of you, so we'll start from his view. How do you think expat Pakistanis can be an asset for the development of this country?
Well, I think the economic advantages are there, definitely. So they're going to help build the economy, definitely, when they're investing, the foreign investments are coming in. But alongside that, I think the skill set that they can bring is very good as well. I mean, in terms of like best practices that organizations use in the UK, or innovative advantages, innovative techniques and things like that, skills from that perspective. I think that would be a very big advantage as well.
Shafiq.
Normally, once we talk about overseas Pakistanis, we talk about remittances, we talk about what they bring in terms of money.
Yeah.
According to most of estimates, there are about 9 million Pakistanis outside Pakistan, and they send about 15 to 20 billion US dollars every year, which goes up like 5 to 10%. Now, this is normally what we talk about.
Yeah.
And yes, it does play a role towards the GDP, like somewhere around 5-7%. But it's not just that.
Yeah.
The first-hand knowledge, we've come here, we've started setting up businesses. And the first-hand knowledge, which I come from a real estate background in UK. Now, in real estate in UK, you can achieve, in terms of profits or capital gains, somewhere around 10, 15, 20%, which is really good. But here in Pakistan, you're talking about 30 to 40%.
Or even 100% at times.
In some cases, yes. But that's, the thing is, I think keeping the investment part on one side, I think we should now be more concerned about the challenges Pakistan is facing domestically and internationally. But at the same time, the opportunities it offers. Because what I've noticed is, and once we talk about how overseas Pakistanis can play their role in the development of Pakistan, one is obviously the most important thing is the economy. But what I can tell you is that all three of us, we've come here, we set up businesses, and what we have understood that there's a lot of gap in the market in terms of what can be done, what can be improved. Overseas Pakistani, along with money, they bring ideas, they bring exposure, they bring experience. Now, I advocate this all the time, that if we get 1% overseas Pakistanis back to Pakistan along with their investment, that can just change the landscape of this country. Internationally, it is the economy of, if I just refer to Mr. Trump's statement and the rest of the things. Now, the economy, yes, in addition to remittances, the economy can change if the ideas, the exposure and the experience along with the investment comes. And what we are talking about, or why we are here today, is to get the support. We have taken an initiative basically by the name of Overseas Pakistanis Association and the Brain Gain. Because, it used to be Brain Drain, now it's Brain Gain. The immigration is now, due to the international dynamics, inward. A lot of Pakistanis are coming back, or they want to come back. And what we need is a sort of enabling environment here in Pakistan. Some sort of support in terms of what they can do business-wise and investment-wise.
Oh yeah, how about you, Farhan? What are your thoughts on this?
I would second Shafiq and Askil. Yes, the money, the investment part is the most important one, but the exposure, skill, and experience, that makes a difference. One good professor who has experience in US university can change the dynamics of one institution in Pakistan.
Okay.
Pakistan faced like brain drain for the last 40 years. We faced this brain drain, but with current global dynamics, Trump, Brexit, and falling economies of Middle East, there is pressure for the Pakistanis to return home. They just need a platform where they'll be welcome, where they'll be integrated, where they'll be, their children will be settled, and it'll be easy for them to be part of this community back again.
Okay, wonderful. That's a really good point. And on that note, we're going to go for a short break. But when you come back, I do have some important questions to, based on the comments that we've just had about people surviving here and having businesses and actually living a very fruitful life. So do stay tuned, and we'll be right back after a short break.
Good morning.
Book is life. Book is hope. And book is light for the future. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you're watching World This Morning alongside Shazad Khan and Maha Makhdoom. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing the role of expats Pakistani in the development of Pakistan while being abroad somewhere in UK, USA, or wherever in the world, and then investing in Pakistan or probably looking for all of those opportunities which we think are very lucrative in terms of the development of the country.
And also, it's not just about financial, it's not about monetary gains. It's also about, you know, how can they play their role in the rest of the society. So, you know, inclusion, inclusiveness, kind of, all that stuff. I'm really struggling for words today. Yeah, enabling environment. Okay, so now, Shafiq, you mentioned earlier that if 1% of expats came back to Pakistan, it would just change the whole situation for Pakistan. But I mean, everyone I think knows many people who've attempted to come back to Pakistan, but it hasn't been successful.
They end up going back to where they come from.
I mean, that happened with my dad. You know, he tried to come back, but the systems, things didn't work out. Now, how are we going to start that process where, yes, the Pakistanis come back, but to retain them within Pakistan? Because after a few years, I think it gets exhausting, especially if you've grown up abroad and you're second, third generation.
Well, you know that. It's
What?
challenging.
Yeah, I
funny?
know that. 4 years challenge.
Well, I thought it was funny though.
You face, you know, if I give you my first-hand knowledge, I've moved back after nearly 15 years, and it's been more than 1 year now. There have been a lot of challenges, and yes, it adds to your frustration. And you were talking about traffic and, you know, rest of the things. We do face challenges in UK as well in terms of parking. Last night we were talking about it. Like you just can't find parking.
Over here you can park anywhere. You can park in the middle of the road. It's great.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. So the thing is, I tell you this. This is what the problem is. What we call is the enabling environment. How can we provide a sort of environment where they can first sustain themselves and then their businesses?
Exactly.
Now, once I say that, you know, 1% of Pakistanis, let's say like, you know, 100,000 Pakistanis come back with the ideas and the exposure and the experience and the investment. How many jobs they are going to create? How much investment is going to come back? Let's say once we talk about the youth of Pakistan, you talk about their age. They're under the age of 30. Now, average age is 22. If Pakistani, you know, not just being a Pakistani, Pakistan is a very intelligent nation. You know,
absolutely.
You know, I've had the opportunity to study and work with a lot of other nations, nationals, but Pakistanis, they're very intelligent. The only thing is, if I talk about youth here, they are not corrupt, they are intelligent, they are hardworking. I can't expect someone working in my UK office after 5 o'clock, if the office time is a 9 to 5 here, they would, you know, work like till late and all that. The only issue is the economy. Once you talk about the change of economy, it's not about remittances. It's about how the entrepreneurship. The youth entrepreneurship is something which is going to change the economy of any country or Pakistan's economy for future. Now, what entrepreneurship need more than anything is the investment. Problem is Pakistan does not have any sort of like banking or other such supports. Though the good initiative, you know, they've taken is that there are a lot of incubation centers now. I think 15 or 16 incubation centers where they mentor the youth to become entrepreneurs and start their businesses. But it's the investment. If overseas Pakistanis come back, they bring in a lot of investment. The problem, but then is that the environment.
Yeah, exactly. How do you retain it?
In some cases, very anti-business environment. And there are two challenges. One is at the individual level, and the other ones are systematic. Now, there are two institutions, I think, you know, the Overseas Pakistanis Foundation, and there is an initiative which has just been taken by the Punjab government for overseas Pakistanis, which are very good initiatives. But I think there's a lot more which needs to come in. We are setting up something called Overseas Pakistanis Association for that as well. And what we want is, Pakistan does offer a bigger scope for investment, and there's a lot of opportunities for businesses. The only thing is, we need support from all sectors of society, from the businesses, from the government, everyone, to make this environment enabling for the businesses to sustain.
That is amazing, but I think I'm going to go and refer to the point where you said that Pakistanis are very intelligent people. Now, obviously, for example, ladies and gentlemen, for all of those people who were broke over here, you know, you send them abroad. What they do is they come back after 10 years or 2 decades, 3 petrol pumps, whatever business is.
Very successful.
And they have flourished and they are successful. Now, this is because of the fact that the economy over there was very stabilized, and then the environment was enabling. But when we talk about saying that, you know, we obviously, you know, then there are statements that, you know, okay, it was a very anti-business kind of mahal over there. So we kind of, let's not refer to that, because the competition can be high. For example, even if you want to be an entrepreneur, you invest in a different kind of field where there are already people, the entry barriers will be high. So now I think you as entrepreneurs and people who actually tell other people to where to invest, what we need to do is that we need to consider in fields where the entry barriers are not high. So now let's talk about all of those areas where all those people who are out there right now, we're going out in 46 different countries, let's share these ideas with them as well. So go ahead.
I would like to add to the
Sure.
earlier
Yeah,
discussion.
that's what I was going to say.
The thing is, when you want to start a business, you do you make a business plan, and it has all the theories.
Over here, people do not make a plan. They're like, oh, let's do it, yeah.
So that's what we did 1 year ago. We made a business plan. You do the resources, the finances, the regulations, the NOCs that you require, and all the textbook stuff, and then you try to implement that. As you said that in UK they're successful because the implementation of that business plan is as it is. It is pretty much as you did in your text theory. But in Pakistan it's totally different. You want to start off a business, you want to buy land, you don't know the dynamics. You need to, there'll be people coming up, getting a stay order on your simple land purchase. You'll have illegal practices by your competition. They'll try to sue you over certain things. You will find a lot of challenges that you will not find in any textbook or any business book. So that is one of the issues. And most of the Pakistanis based abroad are professional workers. They amass their investment, and when they return, they most probably want to invest in a property because they think it's not really easy for them to come back and start a business.
But even though they don't live over here, the first thing they want to buy is a house.
Because that's the safest investment.
which is going to be locked, and nobody's going to come over there.
Okay,
and
well,
live.
first of all, you need somewhere to live if you're going to invest your business money, right? And also,
I mean, look at.
But it's the most stable and the most secure thing that an expat can do, because, I mean, even for me, when my dad talks about it, I'm like, buy some land or property.
That's where I was coming. I mean, look at that. I'm very sorry. Don't kill me for that.
I will kill you. Don't say
that.
anything silly.
But imagine your father invested in property over here, right? Nobody lives there.
They do. When he visits.
For 4 days.
Okay. Anyway, that's not how it works, guys. He's joking. But continue, Farhan, you were saying.
Being once you have moved back, or you actually I've not met any Pakistani who went abroad with this mind that he's going to base there all their life. They want to
exactly. Everyone's come back.
And with every year passing by, it keeps getting difficult for them to return back. I lived in Italy initially, and then I had a daughter. And when her schooling and preschooling started, I didn't want that system to be inculcated in her. We moved to Singapore. It was pretty easy to integrate. It was English language, and there was halal. Everything was easy. But it getting difficult when she started, preschool and school. Then I had to pull out, and the first thing I faced was the peer pressure from your family and the peers that are you crazy? Are you moving back? What are you going to do here? This is the first challenge that we move. This is, I think, a social problem. Then the second is, as I mentioned earlier, the textbook rules do not apply here in Pakistan. You need to have a network here. You need to know people. You need to know who's who of Pakistan to do something here.
Okay, so now with all of this, thank you for putting a very realistic. These are concerns for people, and especially abroad. And also, I would also think, oh, okay, anyway, even if you move to England, wherever you move, you have to think 2, 3, 4 times about it. But all these hurdles, all these problems you've highlighted, they're not positive. That's not going to inspire anyone. So how do you overcome it? Because that is a situation on ground. That's ground reality. How do we deal with it? And how do we make sure people stay?
So what out of the textbook tools do you recommend?
The first one is by setting example, by doing it ourselves. That is the primary thing that we try to do. I joined with Shafiq, and we are working on this initiative, Association of Overseas Pakistanis. I know there are a lot of associations and OPS, but they're basically semi-government or government. They don't have that motivation or stake to run in a way. We intend to make overseas Pakistani stakeholders of this association, and then work to make it easy for people to come back, invest, or they want to do business. For example, a civil engineer wants to come back and set up his own construction company. We'd want to help him connect with the right people, meet the officials or businesses. That is the first thing we have to do this.
That's excellent.
Now, I just want to move on to Hiskeel over here as well. So Hiskeel, as a matter of fact, I asked for Hansab as well, that, which areas do you think are very lucrative for all those people to invest in, or any newer technology, because I think that we need to probably move on from an agriculture-based economy towards a technological-based economy as well. So which areas do you see over here? There are so many software houses being made. People are investing in applications and development of that
what
sort
are
too.
safe options? I think that's what people want to know.
I think when it's firstly, I'd like to say that there's challenges in every country. Like
Exactly.
even if we say, you know, established economies kind of thing, when we're talking about them, there's a lot of challenges that they face as well. Especially if you're talking about overseas Pakistanis, with the recent increase in like the Islamophobia and racism kind of thing. So that it's a hindrance for overseas Pakistanis. But when you say in terms of opportunities, like what could be lucrative, when you say like a services sector, like you were talking about telecommunications or software housing, that's services mainly do not have boundaries as such as like when you say manufacturing and things like that, because manufacturing is it's being manufactured here and then it has to go out, tax laws and whatnot. But services, what you can do is if there's like if someone who's a chartered accountant here can provide consultations to someone who's going by the same principles anywhere across the world. So like an ACCA chartered accountant can provide consultations for someone like say in the UK, US, whatnot. So that is one massive opportunity. I think overseas Pakistanis can invest into services who are specialized in those and then get the healthy returns in that sense as well.
Well, what kind of services? Let's be precise about it.
Like
You just said ACC, like so basically.
like accounting, for example.
Yeah, this is like a technical degree, but you're an entrepreneur. We're talking about business ideas over here. ACCA is definitely not a business idea. It's a technical field, right?
Okay, yeah. So regarding business and different new entrepreneurs, how would people abroad find things to invest in?
Like for example, I mean, if you look at especially what I'd say is niche markets in terms of services, niche markets like say SMEs in established economies who can't afford massive, you know, like the large charges and fees for marketing organizations within that country. And then if you've got like a setup here, you could provide those services to those SMEs and
yeah, I'm just thinking like those. Sorry, would SME fall into those women who maybe make those embroideries or the bags or the
small,
other
medium
definitely small, medium enterprises.
Not everyone's a businessman watching or a business lady. So SMEs is small to medium enterprises, which is what they decide.
If we could just add to this,
Yes, please.
to be honest, what we have experienced so far, everywhere, every sector needs a lot of exposure and experience from overseas Pakistanis.
Okay.
And that's the gap between a developing country and developed countries.
Yeah.
People coming back from the developed countries, most of the expats we're talking about, they'll be coming back from the countries with a lot of experience, exposure, and almost every sector needs it.
Okay.
So whether it's small, big, almost, we, come from the real estate background. Though the whole system of real estate, it's not just the real estate development, it's the how the real estate business transactions. And by the way, if we talk about real estate transactions here in Pakistan, because that's normally the first thing, as you said, that once you come back, you buy a house or a land. Unfortunately, the system has to improve a lot.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the thing is, there are set parameters. We know. We got the roadmap. The Britishers have given us the law, which we are still using for the conveyance system, like the transactions of real estate here in Pakistan, patwar and these sort of things. Whereas they have moved on. They have simplified the business in all aspects. So there's just one sector where a lot of things can change to make it safer for overseas Pakistanis and the Pakistanis living in Pakistan to
Amazing.
Okay, excellent. So Farhana, it's just final question because we run out of time. So now, like you said, we have the road, we have the outline, but the outline that we have been using, people have moved on from it, they've evolved, they've simplified it. So do you think that with the organization you guys are now creating, the Association for Overseas Pakistanis, that you will now try to actually, really try to get these things modernized and kind of bring it up to date?
And before you answer that, there's just one more thing which I would love to add over here, and that is that since the time Pakistan has actually started working on CPEC as well, we have seen that the neighboring countries are trying to be very friendly too, right? Everybody wants to share to those billions of dollars, rupees as well. How you, as an entrepreneur, as a marketing guy, are going to go and tell people that these are the economic zones within the CPEC module, and this is how it can be very beneficial for the country and for you too.
With time, the influx inward is going to increase, and as you guys discussed, it is not because the system and platform in Pakistan is pulling them.
Yeah.
It's because the system and platforms there are pushing them to come back. They don't want Trump. They don't want to be part of the Brexit or whatever the reasons are, the falling economies of Middle East. So they are being pushed. All we have to do is give them a platform and a good pull to come and settle there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. We've actually run out. But it's really important to know what the opportunities are, because actually the whole world, you know, things are very tumultuous socially.
Exactly.
Let's be very frank about it. You know, it may be a few people or a few cities, but that's a few cities too many. So, you know, you have to look at your opportunities. And
Exactly.
Pakistan's a wonderful country. It does have its challenges, for sure, but, you know, something to look into if you
Yeah,
want.
because, you know, for somebody who's actually lived in UK for like 20 years and now she's here
25 years.
For the past 5 years or 4 years, I think it's going great so far.
It's going...
Yeah. And then by the end of the
Interesting.
day, I think what I would love to recommend over here is that, ladies and gentlemen, these people are obviously going to do their job. And whatever you guys, whatever idea you will have in your head, they'll obviously guide you about that too. But as a matter of fact, I think that you have to do your own research. I mean, just keep on reading about Pakistan, what's happening within Pakistan, what is, you know, just read about the exchange rates of the world as well. So I think these are just some small teeny beeny hoti hai hamari tips. I think that's what it
and
is.
also see what all these organizations and associations are doing, because they do all offer different pieces of information which you can find useful. So for any information, log on to our Facebook fan
It is
page,
with the name of Well This Morning.
our Twitter page,
Well This Morning without a G.
our Daily Motion and YouTube page,
Well This Morning.
and the repeat is at
5 past 11 p.m.
have a wonderful day, a great start to the week, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
1, 2, 3. Good
Good morning.
morning. Land cruisers and motorbikes and televisions and
At
this
least they're
much
giving
amount of
something
gold
away.
and whatnot. And all you have to do is probably beg the, you know, host for just a minute or probably 30 seconds. And yeah, motorcycle up.
Okay.
So why can't all of those people sponsor our, you know,
Brilliant.
players, our artists, and probably send them somewhere where they're going to bring back some pride, some honor.
I
These
hope your
companies-
message
these
And a great
transfers
image
to
of
those
Pakistan.
guys.
Sorry?
I hope his message goes to those
No, but the
guys,
thing is-
and they should look into this as well, because, sorry,
no,
cutting
you're
you
the
off,
guest.
because the snooker is a game which is a very hard sport. It's the world's second most difficult game in the world. First is golf and second is snooker, because it's a round ball, hitting with the round ball, hitting with the small tip, putting in the round pocket. So it's a bit
Yeah, it's
technical, isn't
great.
it? It can't just be happening.
Yeah.
So people are spending like 5 to 10 years of their life to get into the position to get a title. It's not a sport that you can make a stamina in 1 year and get ready for the Olympics. It's not.
It's an investment.
It's an investment of your time and energy.
Okay, and
So,
yeah.
sorry.
No,
please.
continue. No.
So they need financial support, and that financial support, you know, they can't spend much of a time on studies, which I discourage. They should get studies as well. But because of our family structure, you know, they leave so many things and they go into the snooker on.
Okay, no, but see, the thing is, like, you know, give away gifts, make these game shows, do whatever you like, but kind of balance it out, you know, gifts, be productive in that. And also, these people who are doing this, they probably can't afford these things. So,
I think they can, because, you know, they're
no, people
bringing
who
in
are
on-
the targeting.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're right over here. But thank you very much, sir, for coming over. It was
You're
lovely to
welcome.
have a beautiful conversation
Same
with you.
here.
Thank you
Same
very
here.
much for
It's
telling me
pleasure-
that my bridge
pleasure
is
was mine.
perfect
Yeah.
and it's rock solid too.
But now, what would be one message to all those youngsters out there who may be interested in getting into snooker?
Get disciplined, and you need to work hard on your personality as well. It's not just a sport. It's not just how you, how many balls you can pot, but how can you present yourself? How can you present Pakistan to the world? That's
Because
only
the day
thing we
when
can do.
whenever it's a championship match, all you have to do is that you have to really be suited and booted. So you have to wear that waistcoat and a bow, so you might feel a bit uncomfortable. So please make sure that you're habitual of that, because over here, people, whenever you go to the club, somebody's wearing a kameez, somebody's wearing a shalwar, somebody's wearing something else, so they're comfortable. But the day when it is a championship match, that's how you have to play.
And I'm sure they'll be prepared for that, hopefully. But
Do you tell them that, you know, okay, you have to wear this dress and then come to me for training?
I do, actually, I do live sessions on Facebook as well.
All right.
So that's my main thing, to guide them mentally.
All right, excellent.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been an
Same
absolute
here.
pleasure
Thanks for
talking
the
to you.
time.
And best of luck
So nice
with the
of you.
future.
So nice.
Okay, guys, so that was us discussing snooker. And actually, there is a huge interest, there's a huge following, and a lot of people are playing it. And we've been doing it for decades. I did not know that. And this is the beauty of these shows, that we learn something every day.
Exactly. I think that's how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of...
Well, this morning.
On Twitter and...
Well, this morning with
Dailymotion and YouTube.
Well, this morning.
The fabulous repeat's going to be at
5 past 11 p.m. I'm trying different ways because
Tonight.
people don't realize.
11:05.
So 5 past. Yeah, 11:05, 5 past 11 p.m. in the evening tonight.
So look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Thank you very much.
Forward. But now, before we finish our show, we're going to share with you the fruit of the day. And today it is, let's have a look, a pear. So we're going to talk about pears. The benefit of pears is that it will lower your blood pressure. Probably should eat a lot of this. It will help you in preventing cancer. It's a great energy booster if you're feeling lethargic with all this heat. It is helpful in relieving the symptoms from fever. It helps to boost your immune system, and it's very rich in fiber. It lowers your cholesterol level. It helps to regulate your bowels, and it is also an anti-inflammatory. So that is our fruit of the day. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We had Dr. Yusuf Raz in the first half, then we had Raja Yasir Sarfaraz and Aisha Iqbal to discuss this education system of Pakistan. With that, do log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning, our Twitter page, World This Morning without a G, our Dailymotion and YouTube page, World This Morning, and the repeat is at 11:05 p.m. in the evening. Have a wonderful day. Look after yourselves and look after each other. Be safe, be good, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.